Everybody, and welcome to Why Are You an Entrepreneur? The Trials and Triumphs. For those of you turning in for the first time or watching the replay, this is where I bring you rock star entrepreneurs every single Thursday who are moving, shaking, making things happen. And if you're an entrepreneur, you know how hard this journey is. And so we're here to come together to share some best practices, words of wisdom, and let you know you are not alone in this. And tonight I have Carol Stokes. She is a life coach. She's an author of multiple books and an entrepreneur. She's also an attorney who's kind of gone down the entrepreneur path. So it's going to be interesting to see this. So Carol, welcome. I'm so glad you're here tonight.
Thank you, Maureen. I'm really happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. All right. So let's start with the question I kick out of the gate here.
Okay.
Why are you an entrepreneur? Why do you have your own business?
I cannot imagine doing anything other than that because it allows me to do what I want to do, pave my own way instead of following someone else's path. Um, I see a lot that needs to be done or could be done, and I've been encouraged in my early life, and I'm still encouraged every day by what I see in certain mentors and role models. But I have my own business so that I can do what I think would contribute to the world in a greater way. Yeah.
And what is that? Share with everybody what your business is.
Okay. Well, I help women. I am a life coach for women because I see there's room to help women create. I'm so sorry.
It's all right. It's technology. It's messy.
Oh, please forgive me. Um, Especially when you have a little one. Um, yes, I do what I do because I help women create boundaries and prioritize themselves so that they can create a life that they love. Pretty much what I've done. And I see that there's room to help other women get to that point as well. So that's why I do it.
So, how did you come to this point in your life where you thought that you should make a business out of doing this?
There is, sometimes I describe it as dancing um, with two left feet. I've been an employer before. And again, what you're doing as an employee is following someone else's rules, someone else's dream. And so it is my dream to help women see that there is so much more for them. And what's interesting is, okay, I've met a lot of women in the legal practice, working in the community, and I find it really fascinating that it seems that almost everyone has a dream, and for whatever reason for them, they just don't see themselves pursuing that dream. And so I saw a need. I saw a need, and I still see a need to help women see beyond what society is showing them that they can be and that they can do. And there was enough there to have a business, to open up the possibilities and not be limited by what someone else says I can and can't do. And there are more than enough women, I think, who are um, in those shoes who actually want more and just need some guidance.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you to move closer to your mic because you're kind of in and out.
Oh,
And
okay.
there you go. So
Okay.
I want everybody to hear what you have to say here. So I
All
don't
right.
want anybody to miss a word. All right. So a question for you. You are an attorney. You practice law. Are you doing this now full time, or are you balancing both?
I am coaching full time. I do have people who call on me still. And quite frankly, if I say yes, if I say yes to anything legal, it is simply to help a family member. But no, I am not practicing law full time and have not been practicing law full time for a few years.
So, what is the difference between practicing law now and pretty much having your own company with, gosh, it's a completely different audience now that you're having to build a business with? I mean,
It
these
is.
people legally, aren't they coming to you? It's like, oh, they need legal services. I'm right here. Here, it's a little bit different, right?
It is different, but for me, it's not that much difference. The difference is, I'll share this much. Practicing law, I was self-employed. Well, I still am, but I was running my own law practice. So I was still a business owner. And the people I run into, I give legal advice to, but there was always a part of me who wanted to do a little bit more. And so I really gave a lot of unsolicited advice. So I was still kind of guiding people along the way, in addition to the legal service I was giving. So there's a hint of a different audience. And a lot of those clients were women, so I was still guiding them. And I've also worked on so many boards where I have been a board of a director in the women's league, so many capacities in which I have still been helping women. And so I have all through my life, I think, been working with my audience, but in a different capacity.
So your
Um,
internet's going a little bit in and out.
oh
So I
goodness.
want to make sure you're like fuzzy 1 minute, underwater the next. So let's hope this sustains itself, right? Because you have some really important things that, you know, women are they're special and they need other women to
Yes.
build bonds and solidarity with, right?
Right.
And
Right.
so as an entrepreneur, as a female entrepreneur, what would you say to other entrepreneurs who you may be working with who are venturing in on that? Is it different for women than men?
I think it is, and that's why I so wholeheartedly support working for women, because I don't think we're taken as seriously as men are, and so the path is a little bit harder. In fact, that supports part of the reason why I do what I do, and I do it for women, because I think we are underrated in one respect. We're pretty powerful. I think we're very intelligent, and I don't think that sometimes we even recognize just how intelligent and amazing that we are, and how much we can accomplish when we focus and actually go for what we want. And I think as a whole, society says women are the weaker sex. And with that mindset, I think we become so entrenched with that mindset that we don't even realize how we shortchange ourselves sometimes. And so, with that, yes, it's harder for women because, for the most part, people are thinking, oh, the man is smarter, he can do more. Um, and it's harder for women to say, I can go for what I want.
Awesome. And so Ajo Marial, hi, one of my former guests on here. She says greetings from Atlanta. She is also just a rock star entrepreneur as well. So she has
Awesome.
joined and is saying hello. All right.
Awesome.
So what is hard about entrepreneurship? What has been the hardest thing that you have experienced with this? Whether it's been your law practice or life coaching, just as a business owner.
Oh my gosh. Um, as a business owner, and especially when you throw in, even if it's been a law practice, I think back to the hardest part is starting knowing that you can do this, and listening to people who have done what you're trying to do because they know. I remember when I started, I remember when I started my law practice, one of the biggest problems I had, let me back up just a second. I never think that I can't do something. So I don't mean it in the respect that, oh, I don't know if I'll actually accomplish or I can do it. I don't set out doing something unless I think I can do it anyway. And I'm pretty stubborn like that. And I think, okay, why not me? And so I kind of approach everything like that. But the hardest part was listening to the people who knew. For example, with the law practice, it, I find it interesting. Most people gave the same advice, and that is get your money up front. Well, I ran across plenty of people who had hard luck stories, and I let them slide, make arrangements with them. And then later, when I tried to collect, oh, they were a different being altogether.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
then I
It's
understood.
the goodness in you, and you want to make an impact, but you got to make an income, girl.
That's
Right?
right.
Or else you're not going to be able to help those people out there if you keep giving your brilliance away.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. And so the hardest part really is having a heart, but still being firm. That's the hardest part. It really is. Um, I meet women now, I meet people now who are on a different path, um, because some people are coaches, some aren't, but everybody thinks, oh, it's just doing this or it's just doing that. And they're looking for more than they're willing to contribute themselves. In other words, I'm willing to help people, and I think we all should encourage that, but people have to be willing to invest in themselves as well.
It's great
Um,
advice. Great advice.
um,
So tell me what's been your greatest success? I mean, we talked about challenges. We've got to give it equal due. What has been your greatest success so far in your life coaching business?
in the life coaching, I actually think it is being able to move forward, um, even on the toughest days, in doing some things I don't want to do. I think that's a win in and of itself, and making an impact. One day waking up and getting responses from people that you're trying to help, and you realize, oh, I am making a difference. I'm actually making a difference. And so I have to remind myself, in all honesty, I have to remind myself that um, I am not the sum total of my bad days. There's a bigger picture there. And my bad days simply being those days where I don't feel like doing anything. I might not feel like posting on social media. And that's a lot of days, to be honest with you.
I was going to say, what's your greatest marketing challenge? That's a nice transition because I know that marketing is challenging and everybody kind of has some special best practices out there. But I like the fact that your mindset is clear. I mean, that's the whole idea. Is there are days none of us want to do this, and none
Mhm.
of us want to really do like the corporate job either. We all
Yeah,
have days like this.
yeah,
But I think what you said is really important. It's not the bad days aren't the sum of the whole thing,
yeah.
right? It's just kind of a
Right.
little blip and you keep going. So tell me about your marketing. Where do you actually find yourself most successful in connecting with your right fit audience, communicating with them?
That is a very good question. So I am still on that quest right now. I spend most of my time on social media, but I have to say that I do have a good email community that I've built. And that too is continuing to grow. So far between the two, um, I'm quite thankful. I am.
That's great. No, that's great. I always say to people, social media will only take you so far, but the fact that
Mhm.
you're getting them off social media and building
Yeah,
your list. All right, everybody, you hear that? I keep harping it on it, but now you've got another, person telling you that email marketing got to get those people on your list so you can nurture them.
so
Um,
true. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I always say you're only renting those platforms. You don't own your
yeah,
content, you don't own engagement. I always say Mark Zuckerberg can shut your page down. And so many people have had their
that's
company
right.
page shut down and
Mhm.
can't recoup anything. And so don't let him have control over your business or any of these platforms at
That's
all.
exactly right. That's exactly right. And that's so similar to, um, I don't want to stay on or focus necessarily on the law practice, but when you're owning a business, you want your business in-house, so to speak. And so if you are counting on your posts, your likes, your comments, all the people who are following you or showing up, but you're not bringing them into your storehouse, so to speak, or your business, then you don't really have that. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, you're not really building that business until they walk through your doors, and those are your doors, not someone else's
Right.
doors.
Right.
Yeah,
It's your brick and mortar when you think about it. Your website
right.
is your brick and mortar. It's, welcoming them
That's
into
right.
your store, holding their hand, getting to know them personally. And you're right, those are your customers, not
Right.
Amazon's, not Etsy's, not, anybody on social media. So take control of your company,
That's
right?
right. That's exactly
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so glad you're saying this because I don't think a lot of people have thought of this before because we put so much into social media. We think it's like the end all of our marketing. Oh, I'm going to grow for no money. It's going to
Mhm.
grow organically and you spend a lot of time on it, but that's only for brand awareness. That's just to
Yeah,
get your name out there.
that's exactly right. And I also see it as part of when you get that understanding, it's a matter of understanding management. And again, you're managing a business. And so part of that management is you're looking at prospects, you're looking at customers, and there's a big difference. And you're looking at your access to them and how much time you can spend with them and how you can reach them. And if you have to go outside of your own space that you actually own, so to speak, or have control over, then you don't actually have them yet, and you have more management to do, more managing to do to bring them in.
So, I want to talk about how many books you put out.
Okay.
Because in my experience, writing a book is probably one of the best marketing tools you can use out there. And so you have several of them, and I'd like to hear how you're using that amazing message that you're putting together in, the opportunity for people to buy. Are you using these books as a great marketing tool?
You know what? It's so interesting that you're asking that. I actually am not the way I should, but I absolutely should. And in fact, um, talking about running a business and managing a business, and part of it is stepping back to assess what you're doing and what changes you need to make. I have two books I've written, solely yours, and they are so in line with what I'm trying to do or the work that I'm doing as a life coach. And I thought, okay, at some point, those will be incorporated into the work that I do. So far, I haven't done that. In fact, to be honest with you, and I think this is the first I've shared with anyone, is I'm looking at doing another one that actually aligns with the work that I'm doing, that's even more specific to helping women to set those boundaries and prioritize themselves.
All
But yeah,
right.
it definitely is a great marketing tool, and they're so helpful as a resource when you're trying to teach, do a workshop, um, even as to have for, I don't want to say, okay, well, those are entrepreneurs out there who are listening. If you need a lead magnet, if you need a workbook, if you need some kind of resource to send your clients to, whether you're working with them one on one or in a group coaching session, um, it doesn't matter. Give them something that they can refer to that helps you to do exactly what you're trying to do, get them from where they are to where they want to be. So it's absolutely perfect.
Well, the couple things you just said that I think is just gold. First off, you're giving them something that they're going to remember you by, even if they're not ready to take the leap, right? You're in their head. They're getting to know you. They're getting to like you. They're getting to trust you. But you know what? You did something very authentic here, Carol. Is you admitted that you haven't done something that you know You probably should be. And it's kind of an awakening going, all right, Maureen just brought something to my attention here. When I
Yeah.
get off this, I'm going to start using my books
Yes.
as a marketing tool. But you were, you know what? You were truthful about it. And some people will not recognize that, you know what, there are opportunities out there. And maybe I do need to focus in on it, or it's not all perfect. You've got to identify, and admit, I haven't been. You could have lied. You could have told me, oh yeah, I'm using those left and right and it's all perfect, but you were honest and I appreciate that.
Oh, thank you. Well, and it takes me back to something you asked me a little earlier too. You said, well, what's the difference about the law practice business and the life coaching business? Well, what's the hardest part and so forth? Well, here's the thing. Sometimes, in all honesty, so I did that, or I've done the law thing for 30 years plus. Okay. Making a transition can be tricky in that there are things to remember. I did that for so long and in such a capacity that I might not remember everything, but that is part of the learning and the growing. And we're always learning, always growing. I don't care how long we've been doing something. And so that's just the truth of the matter. But with that, it also helps me to help my clients and my potential clients because I've walked in those shoes, I can tell you. It's
Yep.
because I've walked in those shoes, I can guide you. And
I
so, yeah,
think, there's nothing more important than real world experience, not theory,
yeah,
right? This
yeah,
isn't read from a textbook. This is real life experience and how you overcome those obstacles. And I say that to people when you're building your business, seek out people who have done it and
mhm,
know the process, not those that are practicing on you to figure
mhm.
it
Oh, yes,
out.
yeah,
That's
yeah, big
the
difference.
thing. Yeah, there's a huge difference. They're
Yeah,
like, oh, I'm starting a business and I'm going to go ahead and help them, even though I've
yeah,
never done it, but
yeah,
I'll learn it.
yeah,
It's just so funny. So the fact that you have, pure, raw, real world experience, I think just makes a huge difference. For those of you out there who are looking for a life coach, think about that. That's very important that you find somebody who has that authenticity. So
yeah,
you go. Oh, Joe, Marielle, you go, Your Honor. She is great. Yes, yes to making an impact and an income. You're like interacting and engaging with us tonight. This is so awesome. I love it when
right.
people tune in and what you're saying is making a difference right now. I don't think people realize that anytime they get the opportunity to get their message out there, even if it's just to one person, Carol, you're making a difference.
Yeah,
That's really that really is the case.
yeah.
Um, okay, so tell me what makes you different, Carol. So I've talked about, you, and you are in a very competitive industry. I mean, there are a lot of life coaches, and
Yeah.
we've talked about authenticity in real world. Okay. But beyond that, what would you say to somebody that you need to pick me over them?
The first thing that I always say is, what makes me different is I am me. In other words, no one else can be Carol. And because of that, it's similar to what I was just sharing a moment ago. Because I have walked in certain shoes, I can help you. Because I've been in your shoes, I can help you. But here's the thing, what makes me different is this: we're each individuals. There are no two people alike. And those who resonate with my journey, who I am, how I think, my character, my ethics, all of that is what sets me apart. Those things are what set me apart. And those people who say, oh, I want Carol, I want to talk to her, I want to have a chat with her, are the people whose mindset lines up with mine. And that is what sets me apart, not someone else. spouses, 30 years or 20 years, or I can get you here or there. What sets me apart are those things who make me Carol. And it's just as simple as that. It's my journey. It's my journey. And honestly, with the clients that I'm building now, the clientele confirms that because it's as though I carved out these people myself. And that speaks volumes to me.
Yeah, I love it. All right. What words of wisdom would you really say to people if it was just one thing, even if it's just a one quote of wisdom?
Oh my gosh. I wish you
All
hadn't
right,
said
putting you on the
that.
spot.
Oh no, I have them just trying to stop me from running them off. But one is trust yourself. And I cannot emphasize that enough. And that doesn't mean starting something new and you don't know if you go one, two, or three, or what comes first. That's not what I mean. I mean listening to yourself as to the direction you should take. Because you cannot know how to do something, but yet know to listen to yourself as to the direction to follow to get what you need. Listen to yourself before you listen to other people.
That's great
And I
advice.
think that that is a gift that I have. So back to what sets me apart, um, I'm a firm believer. I am a firm believer. And you know, just pay attention and don't doubt yourself. And let nobody tell you what you can and cannot do.
Great advice. All right, so tell everybody, Carol, how they can get a hold of you.
Please contact me at carolLstokes.com. Come visit
Okay.
me on my website, carolLstokes.com.
Awesome. And you have books there that you can purchase. Are you also on Amazon, or we only want to focus on your website where people can purchase it, right? We don't want to
That's
give Amazon
exactly,
the business.
that's exactly right. And you will find every single book. Thank you, Maureen, for even mentioning those. Every single book on my website. You can check me out there. You want to know about me, carolLstokes.com for the books, scheduling a chat with me, learning more about me, reaching out to contact me, come visit me on my site.
Oh, I love it. Well, for all of our small business owners out there, I hope you've enjoyed this conversation because I certainly have. Every time I do this, I pick out just another nugget of information, and I think Carol has really shared. One of the best things, the takeaway here is believing in yourself, but have true authenticity and realize you have walked a path like no other. Your story is like no other, and you will find the right tribe that will gravitate to you and have synergy with you. Okay, you just got to get your word out there, and you got to market those wonderful books that you have spent time creating. So there's another thing to take away is Carol has some amazing books for you to go ahead and purchase and get to know her better. And she's going to start marketing those to all the people out there. So anyway, for those of you tuning in, thank you so much tonight. I have appreciated you, tuning in. And for those of you for the replay, if you are finding conversions really hard, I make converting customers simple for you. And let me tell you, once you know your target audience, you know your messaging, and you can really tell people what makes you different, your marketing is going to be so much simpler. So let me know if you need anything. Adjo Marielle, I'm so glad you enjoyed the conversation. I have too. I think you are very special, Carol. All right, everybody, we're out of here, and we'll see you next week. I got another rock star. Bye, everybody.